Hi there, my name is Bill Hiltz, and welcome to a typical case of dental embezzlement. Every case of dental embezzlement is different. They all involve different people, involved in different relationships under different circumstances. Each victim will experience different financial and emotional losses, and yet, while every case is different, they all share some common similarities. Let's look at the timeline of a typical case of dental embezzlement. Our typical case involves these similar events: hiring, gaining familiarity and trust with the practice, getting the encouragement and confidence to keep stealing, getting caught or finally quitting, financial recovery and restitution, and criminal conviction. Let's look at each of these events in a little bit more detail. Employee embezzlement begins with the hiring process. In order for someone to be a dental embezzler, they have to get hired in the first place. Now, it turns out that most embezzlers are first-time offenders who did not intend to steal from the dental practice when they were first hired. In fact, stealing from their employer was not even on their radar screen. Other job applicants will have a checkered past. These are people with a history of dishonesty who apply for a job in the dental practice and end up getting hired. I'm going to talk about both types. As I just mentioned, the majority of dental embezzlers are first-time offenders who did not intend to steal when they were first hired. They have no criminal history, and they lead relatively blameless lives. They probably have children or kids in college. They usually appear as hard-working and loyal employees who have earned your trust. Most end up working in the practice for a few years or more before they make a bad decision and start to steal from their employer. In my estimation, 90% of embezzlement cases fall into this first-time category. And then there are the serial embezzlers. These individuals have a history of dishonesty and often share many common traits and personalities. They often exhibit self-imposed leadership and authority, which can appear to the employer as being hardworking. Serial embezzlers are difficult to spot in an interview. This is not their first rodeo. They come well prepared and well rehearsed. Many will exhibit confidence while exaggerating their competencies and experience. They often will lie about their work history and certainly leave out any information that would disclose their dishonest past. Now, unlike the first-time offender, serial embezzlers start thinking about how to steal from the practice on their very first day. They're easy to spot if you know what to look for. So let's take a look at an actual serial embezzler. Meet Xavier Packingen Hunter. Zav was hired in August of 2020 by a California dentist who recently had an employee quit and leave for another position. Zav presented very well during the interview. She had a professional tone, spoke well, and told the dentist that she had worked in various medical and dental practices in the past, and she really understood insurance. Moreover, she could start right away. The dentist hired Zav and thought his employee problem was over. By late December 2020, the practice owner had received multiple complaints from patients regarding unusual charges on their credit cards. Two of his patients said the dental practice was the very last place they had used their credit card. The dentist became concerned and called me for advice. During our call, I asked the dentist to tell me the name of his new employee. As he was spelling her name, I was typing it into Google. This is what appeared in my Google search. It showed that Zav was arrested in 2016 for prescription fraud in North Carolina. I emailed this picture of Zav to the dentist, who confirmed that this was the same person who was sitting behind his front desk. I was hired and Zav was fired. But that's not the story I want to tell here. I looked a little deeper into Hunter's background, and here's what I found. Zav had an outstanding warrant in North Carolina for fraud. She also had a warrant for possession of a stolen vehicle, and this was in May 2020. You can see circled in red, just a few months before she was hired by the dentist in California. I kept searching, and sure enough, Zav had an active warrant in Virginia dated February 2020 for felony theft, and it didn't end there. Turns out, Zav has a long rap sheet. Here are 8 mugshots from the Wake Forest Police Department in North Carolina. Zav has 8 outstanding warrants. The one in red is dated September 2016 for trafficking in narcotics. That's the physician's office where Zav worked and stole prescription pads to go on a pharmacy binge. Now, you're probably asking yourself the same question as me. How does someone like Zav Hunter ever get hired in the first place? Why didn't the dentist alarm bells go off when he was interviewing her? Remember, Zav presented very well during the interview and appeared experienced and competent. Well, it turns out Zav was hired because no one checked her resume. Zav's resume was a body of lies. If the dentist had performed a basic pre-employment check, her criminal past would have been uncovered. Now, it's common for people to lie on their resumes, even if they don't have a history of dishonesty. 60% will lie about having mastery of a skill, like Excel. 50% will lie about working at a company longer than they did, or omit another employer. And 33% will lie about their achievements. In my other course, I will provide you with a step-by-step guide on how to check a job applicant's resume like a detective and make sure that people with a dishonest past can never gain a toehold in your practice. Now, let's get back to our typical first-time offender.